Over the night, Russian forces continued their advance in Bakhmut, seizing two large zones and forcing Ukrainian troops back. Ukraine now barely clings on in Bakhmut, with close to 99% of the city under Russian control. At the same time that night fighting was underway in Bakhmut, there was also a massive missile attack on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. All this in today's Frontline report. Inside the city of Bakhmut, the Russian mercenary forces fighting through the Citadel region consolidated their gains and forced Ukrainians to take up defensive positions at the back line of the high-rise buildings at the far edge of the city. But before we get too deep into the details, I would just like to thank everyone for joining. Please consider hitting both the like and subscribe buttons, totally free for you to do, but a big help for me to grow the channel. Also consider hitting that bell icon so you do not miss any future updates. This will send you a notification when the next report comes out, and of course, you can choose not to watch it immediately. And finally, I would like to give a shout out to those of you who have donated through Super Chat, big or small, they do not go unnoticed. Raj T, you are an absolute legend for the $50 chat, and of course, thank you to Paolo and Chris, it is very much appreciated. So yesterday we left off with the news that the Russian forces in Bakhmut had advanced deep into the citadel from two different directions, threatening an encirclement of Ukrainian troops. You can see these gains as the red shaded area outlined in yellow. Today, the information came in that Ukraine was forced to retreat from these positions and is now defending the line along Volusia-Uvalenia Street, an area that is currently being assaulted by Russian mercenaries. A third axis of Russian attack in the direction of the Children's Hospital appears to have been repulsed for now. This has prevented the Russians from striking at the intersections necessary for the Ukrainian escape from town. The current Ukrainian position in Bakhmut has been degrading rapidly over the last few days. After what appeared to be a short break in the Russian advance last week, these renewed assaults have managed to take over two-thirds of Ukraine's remaining Bakhmut territory in just 2 days. The Ukrainian front line is currently highly unstable. In the southern areas of town, there is finally been photographic evidence of a Ukrainian presence near the post office. I am unsure if this was achieved via a counterattack or if the Ukrainians simply never left these positions. There have been no more reports of Ukrainian territorial gains on the northern or southern flanks of Bakhmut as of the making of this video, but if they do occur, I will put them in the next update. So, in Kyiv last night, there was some rather interesting information. A massive Russian missile attack occurred on the Ukrainian capital, and there are some very contradicting narratives, so I just want to spend some time talking about what happened. There is a fair amount of video footage that leaked out of Kyiv last night, despite the ban on posting video of Russian missile attacks. One video in particular shows an air defense battery discharging 30-plus missiles into the air, followed by an explosion at the point of origin for the missiles, or at least what appears to be an explosion. Now, this is where the narratives begin. The Ukrainian government claims that all incoming Russian missiles and drones were shot down, including 6 Russian Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, allegedly all taken down by the Patriot air defense battery. The Russian government claims that in the missile attack, they destroyed a Patriot SAM battery with a Kinzhal missile. So obviously, two very opposite claims. So let's go back to the video. What you are likely seeing is 2 Patriot launchers of the PAC-3 missile configuration launching a full volley of missiles. A single launcher only has 16 missiles, and I'm assuming that a reload could not have been carried out inside of the 2-minute video that you're currently watching. So likely 2 separate launchers of 32 missiles total around the same location. As I have said previously on this channel, and in a long Twitter thread that I posted this morning, it is not impossible to shoot down a hypersonic missile, just highly unlikely. Essentially, you would try to predict where the missile is going to be at a certain time and try to preemptively fire your interceptor missiles at that location and hope they hit the hypersonic missile when the missile gets there. Of course, there is a very high rate of success with this with just general ballistic missiles because of the speed that they move and the predictability of the path that they're on. Those are not things you can really apply to a hypersonic missile. They're much faster and much more maneuverable. Since the KH-47 Kinjal hypersonic missiles travel between Mach 10 and Mach 13, according to Wikipedia, and the Patriot PAC-3 missile has a speed of Mach 4.1, it is likely that in order to stand a better chance at shooting down one of these missiles, you would need to oversaturate the air with PAC-3s in order to increase the chance that one meets their mark. So we've heard this in the past from the Ukrainians that when the regular cruise missiles or ballistic missiles are coming in, the Ukrainians tend to launch at least 2 air defense missiles at each one in order to increase the chance of intercepting. Obviously, with these Kinjal missiles, you would have to fire much, much more than that to stand a good chance at intercepting. So, I believe that is what you are seeing in this video. This Patriot battery is likely filling the sky with PAC-3 missiles in order to attempt the takedown of one or more Kinjal missiles. Unfortunately for the Ukrainians and their Patriot battery, CNN this morning seemed to somewhat confirm the Russian narrative. In this article, CNN claims that a U.S. official has admitted that a Patriot air defense system was struck by a missile during last night's attack on Kyiv. The official claim is that the system was likely damaged but not destroyed. That is the line coming from U.S. government officials. While the Ukrainians can probably rejoice at the fact that they had a close call, and if the system was only damaged, it can be repaired and put back into combat. This is still very problematic, however, as Ukraine only has 2 Patriot air defense systems, one donated by the US and the other donated jointly by Germany and the Netherlands. It is unknown how many launchers came with each system and how many have been damaged, but this will result in a reduction of Ukrainian air defense capabilities. In terms of the validity of the Ukrainian reports, there is additional video available that shows multiple rocket hits on the ground around Kyiv. This paired apparently with the confirmed hit on the Patriot seems to suggest that Ukraine is padding their air defense numbers just a little bit. Finally, we will take a look at the battlefield to see where Russian assault actions have been. The most notable area outside of Bakhmut is north of Kupiansk, where we got news yesterday that the Russians had captured a small village and crossed the Oskil River. We have no updates on that situation, but the Ukrainian MOD does report Russian actions in the area, along with what looks to me like a very dense concentration of Russian shelling. Aside from the lack of information coming from the area, there are some curious indicators, so we will keep a close eye on the situation here to see if anything changes. But until then, thank you guys for joining, and more from me next time.